Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court with Krissy. We've got a familiar face making her three-peat appearance, but this time it's the LT docket, not the DV docket. But when you have so many cases, it's really hard to keep them all straight. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
All right. Equilibrium Management versus Tim Van Alstyne.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Norman Whitty on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right, Mr. Van Alstyne, are you still here? Is he here? He was here.
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Yes, he's here. Okay, very good. All right. Mr. Whitty, what is this case about from your perspective?
Your Honor, this is a non-payment of rent case. Rent to retain possession through the end of the month of September is currently due in the amount of $3,800. We've not yet been able to obtain the amount of service and process in this matter, so I can't give you a total for court costs at this point.
Yeah, we could. I typically just start with the principal amount and consider court costs after that. But how much is a monthly rent?
One moment, huh? $710.
710. So sometimes I'm good at math and sometimes I'm not. Is what, that 5 months in arrears, 5.5, something like that?
Sounds about right, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Van Alstyne, do you agree that, well, first of all, Mr. Whitty's client, Equilibrium Management, is the owner of the property you live in? You're muted somehow. Okay.
Your Honor, when I signed the lease, I was made to be aware that they were running the property for someone else. Like, I don't need to say any names, but is that what's going on with Equilibrium?
They're the management, and that could be. That's not the big issue, of course.
Okay, great.
Mr. Whitty, though, is saying that you owe about $3,800. Do you believe that's true?
Yes, Your Honor, I do believe that is true.
Okay. What is your plan? I mean, your case is a little different than the others. He's basically saying if you pay, you stay.
Yeah.
And are you able to pay it? What's your plan for that?
I can't pay it now, Your Honor, but that's only because I've been out of work. I have a job now. I was happily able to provide this information to Equilibrium Management on the 9th, which was very shortly before I was served the eviction paperwork.
Yeah.
To say, like, I have a job now.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Did you pay attention to that PowerPoint that was played?
I did, Your Honor. And actually, I had something. Given how the case is currently been submitted.
Hold on. Just answer my question. There's some places there
I saw the PowerPoint, Your Honor.
You can get assistance from. Did you see that?
So that's actually my concern here. Is that information, although it was only one slide, and although I appreciate the court subsidizing the legal department of someone else's department, I didn't actually get that paperwork in my summons, and I had been told, and Michigan law code says that I'm supposed to get that paperwork with my summons.
Mr. Van Alstyne, I'm not having an argument about the case.
I'm just asking you to throw the case out as it exists right now because I wasn't given that information.
Right. Okay.
They can
Mr.
refile. I respect that.
Mr. Van Alstyne, I'm going to mute your phone if you don't listen to me. You understand that? Don't interrupt me. Okay. We will send you an additional copy of that information. You can contact legal aid and they may or may not assist you. I don't know if they will. You can't just ask for a case to be dismissed. You have to file the proper paperwork. I'm not saying you have grounds for it or you don't have grounds. On the other hand, do you want to meet with Mr. Whitty now to see if you're able to resolve this?
I absolutely do. Okay,
you'll get that opportunity to do so. Did you hear me explain the mediation process?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you want to disclose your phone number now or do you want to email it to the court?
I'm happy to disclose my phone number now, Your Honor.
All right. And
it's
what
989.
Is it? All right. That will be passed on to community mediation, as will Mr. Whitty's phone number. They will contact both of you. And if you get the call, I'm assuming you have an answering machine or something like that would pick it up if you can't. And make sure you call them back. We will be back here in 2 weeks. I don't want to hear from community mediation. I say this to everybody. I don't want to hear from community mediation that this person did not respond. It's your responsibility, as it is for Mr. Whitty, to make sure you're in touch with community mediation. Do you have any questions?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay, we will send you a copy of that paperwork that was in the PowerPoint, and you can review it. You can call legal aid if you want to. You can file any motions that you want to, but also you're going to have a breakout room with Mr. Whitty if Mr. Whitty is agreeable, and see if you can resolve this case. If you do reach an agreement, you won't have to go through community mediation. Mr. Whitty will prepare the paperwork necessary for me to sign. Mr. Whitty, are you agreeable to a breakout room?
I am, Your Honor. If we could also include my client, Equilibrium Management.
All right, who is that?
That's the username, Equilibrium Management.
Okay, all right. So you'd be put in there as well. Do you have that, Brent? Do you
Yes.
see them? All right. So there'll be 3 parties in there. You don't need to come back once you're concluded. If there is an agreement, Mr. Whitty will prepare it and send it to the court. If there isn't, we'll be sending out a notice. Mr. Whitty, anything else?
Nothing for, Your Honor, if we reach a conditional dismissal, we should come back, right?
I'm sorry,
If we reach a resolution, we should come back. Otherwise, are we free to leave?
Yeah, actually, if you reach a resolution, you don't need to come back either, because you'd just notify us. You'd have to get Mr. Van Alstyne's signature on it anyway. If we don't get a signed judgment soon, we'll set it, the hearing date will be set out. It'll be in 2 weeks as well.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, Van, Elaine, and John Gasper versus Tom Hummel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is John Gasper.
This is
All right.
Gasper. In Elaine
Okay.
Gasper, right here.
All right, and I did hear Mr. Hummel. Yeah, I can see and
Yes,
hear
I'm
you
here,
as
sir.
well. All right, so Mr. Van Gasper, you'll be doing the speaking, I'm assuming?
No, John will do the speaking.
Oh, John will be. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter, since you all are parties, you all can, but
Right.
it helps me if there's just one person speaking.
I understand.
So, Mr. Gasper, what is this case about from your perspective?
Well, this is basically a violation of land contract.
Oh, this is a land contract, not a landlord tenant matter. Give me just a minute to take a quick look at this. That changes things just a bit. All right, I do see it's a land contract forfeiture. It says that the price was $52,000 and about $46,500 roughly is what's due. What are the monthly payments that were to be made?
400.
$400
I'm
per
sorry.
month.
400 per month. What's the arrearage? What is owed? What would be necessary to
Well,
bring it?
Actually, the current balance is $46,387.28.
Okay.
Payments are current. The dispute is other areas of the land contract.
Okay, well, and maybe it's stated in the complaint, what areas, you say it's current, what areas do you believe they are not in compliance with the land contract?
Firstly, part of the land contract states insurance maintained on the property. By our records, insurance was canceled or eliminated on July 24th of 2024. So the property is not currently insured.
Okay, and I'll give Mr. Hummel a chance to respond in a minute, but were there any other alleged breaches?
Well, we have an issue of summer taxes of 2024, which we have paid in the amount of $800.61.
Summer taxes of 2024, okay. Anything else?
Yeah, we were actually before your bench last year, and they promised to do the property repairs by snow season of last year, being roof repair, structure repair to the house and to one of the outbuildings. And it doesn't appear any of that has been done.
Okay, and I'm not implying anything by asking this question, but are they required to do that by the land contract?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And once again, I understand there may be a dispute. I'm just trying to find out what the issues are. Any other issues besides those 3?
No, that covers it.
All right. Mr. Hummel, apparently you've made all the payments. You're current with that. Is there insurance on the property?
I have been this whole 5 years.
I'm having trouble hearing you, sir. It's breaking up.
Yep. Can you hear me?
That's better. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Yeah,
can.
I have not been at this house. I have not been at this house in 5 years. I am not the current tenant. I have no idea what is going on or why
Okay.
I'm even in court.
Okay, well, hold on a minute. That maybe gives me another question to ask Mr. Gasper. So was the land contract that was signed, was Mr. Hummel's name on it?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Hummel, what year was the land contract signed? Do you remember?
It was 2018 when the land contract was signed, and then I signed it over legally through the state of Michigan in 2019. And
So
have
you're,
not,
you
and I
say
have
you
not
signed it, you signed it to the state of Michigan?
Nope, I signed it over. You have the copy. I actually sent you a copy of the paper.
Let me just take a quick look at this.
Yep, it's notarized and everything.
All right,
It was
well,
actually
I see the purchaser's assignment of land contract.
done by Pagel's Law.
Was this recorded? Was this recorded with the Register of Deeds?
Yes. Yes, it was all done at Pagel's Law here in town.
Okay, all right, and I do see that document. I guess I'm saying this to both sides. I mean, this is a land contract forfeiture. It's not, if it is a successful case, it simply eliminates whatever interest you have in the property. I say this to the Gaspers, you may want to contact an attorney about this based on the documents that are here, and we'll send you a copy of that soon. I'll get to that in a minute. But there may be somebody else that needs to be named as a party to this. I'm not here giving you legal advice. Hold on.
Yep,
I'm not here to the Gaspers giving you legal advice, but you may want to do that just to protect your title.
I understand.
So, Mr. Horgan, who's the clerk, will send you the documents that Mr. Hummel sent. Mr. Hummel, was this your only copy?
No, actually, I went right to the state or to the courthouse and got that copy for you.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, Mr.
I did make copies.
Okay,
ahead,
sure, that's fine. Mr. Gasper, do you want these mailed to you or emailed to you?
You can email them to me. No, actually, would you please mail them to me? That way I know they'll come.
Okay, we probably do have your address. Yeah, we have your address, so copies of that will be mailed. I'm going to set this for a hearing in 2 weeks, but my suggestion to you would be you call an attorney and just say, hey, here's the situation. Mr. Hummel is saying, I have no interest in the property, and even if your case against him is successful, which he isn't going to care about, there still may be somebody else whose name is on the property, and if you plan to sell it to someone else, you're going to have a cloud in your title. That's something you should talk to an attorney about.
So I have a quick question. So
Sure.
every time that I'm getting served papers, they're not coming to me. They're actually going to the people that live at the house. And then I actually found out that I had court today through my son, who overheard his sister-in-law, who actually owns the house now.
Yeah, I understand the defendants are Tom Hummel and all other occupants, but that's not going to work if you're getting somebody's name off the property. I mean, really, Mr. Hummel, you're on this, but based on the documents that are here, there wouldn't be any personal liability anyway. If you still owned it, you could walk away. And right now, it's the Jaraneski's problem, but the court case isn't in the right posture for that. So
right, yep.
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
And we actually, okay, yeah, because we went through this last year too, and I did the same thing.
I have some recollection of it. I understand, but
yeah, and I mean, I haven't even been at this place. I have no idea,
Okay, sure.
I'm just here to see you.
Okay,
I still don't agree that somebody can sign off a contract without the other signee's permission.
And Mr. Gasper, you may be right. You may be right. I can't give legal advice. That depends upon what the land contract and the law says. That's why my advice is in situations like this is to contact a lawyer.
I have a quick question real quick, and then I'm done.
Well,
where's Sherry Gasper at? Because she's the one that I originally.
It doesn't matter for the purpose of this, and that's really, it's not relevant.
That's what originally took care of this whole house.
Okay, all right. Well, we're really done with what we can do with this case. it'll come back in two weeks, and Mr. Gasper, you're probably entitled to an order of forfeiture against Mr. Hummel, but his position is it doesn't matter because I don't have an interest in the property.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And I got a bunch more cases, but the last of the first landlord tenant cases is Walter Moore versus Eichenberg and Nisgoda.
I'm here, yeah.
All right, Ms. Eichenberg is here. Mr. Moore, I'm assuming you can hear me, but are you unmuted or can you unmute? That's them done.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Terry Moore.
I can hear you now. Ms. Eichenberg, well, actually, let me start with Mr. Moore. Well, first a question for you, Ms. Eichenberg. Do you believe you can speak for Mr. Nisgoda, at least today?
I'm pretty sure I can, sir.
Okay, all right. So Mr. Moore, you're the owner of this property, I'm assuming. Can you just briefly describe what's going on?
Well, I originally let Tamika and Nick rent the house from me last July, and rent has never been easy to get. And they paid, the last time they paid any rent was, they paid it part of last December. And from last December to current, they have not paid any rent.
How much do they owe?
Well, through September, they owe $5,960.
I'm sorry, 5960?
Correct.
And that would pay them up to the end of September?
That is correct.
And what is the monthly rent?
$600.
All right, Ms. Eichenberg, do you agree with that you owe that, or you and Mr. Nisgoda owe that money?
I'm not quite sure how to answer that question, Your Honor, because we stopped making payments in December when he refused to come and fix the wall because my heat bill was going up.
Well, here's in general how those types of cases work. I mean, there's obviously the place has some value. There's, if I'll set this matter for trial. I suspect that's what I'm going to have to do on this. How long, you said Mr. Nisgoda is in jail. How long is he in jail for? When will he get out?
I believe it's October 27th, sir.
I'm sorry, that broke up. Tell me again, what day?
October 27th. But I have went in front of you twice already to try to get the restraining order dropped. And both times I was shut down, prosecutor.
Well, I don't do restraining orders. I may do bond conditions that say no contact. Is he charged with domestic violence against you?
Sir, I went in front of you when it first happened to try to get it dropped, and then I actually went and made my own.
Okay. This is not what this case is about now. This is about the landlord tenant matter. I'm assuming there was service on Mr. Nisgoda as well.
Yes.
All right. So both have been served. If this goes, well, here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to send this to community mediation. I will set a trial date, but before that, you'll be back here in a week. Mr. Moore, what I need from you is a listing of, all right, this month, here is the amount of rent, if any, that was paid. Because I think you said there was 1 month that was partial.
December.
Yes.
Several months that haven't been paid at all, just so I have that. Are you making a claim for anything else besides unpaid rent?
I hauled a trailer load of trash out of there last spring, and I put that in the
Okay, then
request
just
also.
make sure on that listing of things that that's included. So I have that to look at, that everything is there.
Okay.
All right.
Excuse me,
Okay,
Your Honor.
well, I'm not getting into that now. I will decide that later. I just asked him to put what his claims are. What I want you to do is, you'll get what he says. You don't have to respond to that, but if you're saying there's repairs he hasn't made that you think he is required by law to do, I need you to list those.
Okay.
And I don't want a paragraph listing. I want number 1 to say this, number 2 to say that, number 3 to say this. You need to get that to me, and you can email it to Mr. Horgan, the court clerk. You can email it to him, but I have to have it by Friday of this week.
Okay, and what is his email, sir?
Do you have that notice that you used to get on Zoom today?
Yes, I
Your email's on there.
Yes, it is.
His email is on that.
the Zoom paper. Okay, his name is what? Just so I
Brent
know.
Horgan. Does it say Brent or does it say Horgan?
It's B. Horgan.
It says B. Horgan on it.
B. Horgan. Okay. All
Did
right.
you find it?
Well, I don't want to set my phone down here. I have.
Okay. If you can't find it, call the court tomorrow and we can give it to you. Mr. Moore, do you have his email address?
I believe so.
It'll be on that notice as well. So I want that information by by this Friday, so I'll have a chance to look at it before Monday. We'll be back here Monday at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock, and I'll be setting a trial date on this. My guess is we're not going to have a resolution. Mr. or Ms. Eichenberg, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Mr. Nizgoda because it's going to go to trial before his release date. I'm sure of that, but I'll figure that out when I decide whether the trial is going to be in person or not.
Your Honor,
Okay. Anybody that
Yes,
I can
sir.
go and
I visited Nick in jail Sunday, and he told me that he has a release date of October, but then he's also violated parole, and he's not sure what they're going to do. He said
Okay.
parole person told him he may ask Nick just to stay in jail and through January of next year, and then he will be off parole. So there's a good chance that even though he's got a release date of October 27th, that he'll continue to be
Sure.
through January.
I understand what you're saying, and like I say, this case will get done well before the January case and probably before the October case. But if the trial is in person, he'll be appearing by Zoom. They're not going to bring him over here for this. If it's by Zoom, he can appear. We do that with folks from the jail all the time. All right. So, Ms. Eichenberg, did you have a question?
yes, sir. Am I able to get a hold of an attorney or the legal aid or something? Because
Did you see that information that was on the PowerPoint?
I did. Okay. So that was I screenshotted the legal aid part, but I didn't know if I was supposed to do that before today's date. Because
you can call them. They're different than a court-appointed attorney in a criminal case. They don't have to represent you. In a court-appointed attorney, if you qualify, you get one. Here, you don't, but you can sure call them. They'll let you know.
Because I wasn't notified of the eviction until the day that I got out of jail for the proceedings that I had this morning with you, which was
right.
literally a week and a half ago.
Well,
So
you can give them a call. I'm not sure what time they close, but if you've got that number, give them a call. If you find your screenshot didn't work, get a hold of Mr. Horgan. He can get you that information.
okay, and so you know, sir, I did find his email, so I have that.
Okay,
I will-
all right, very good. Thank you. All right, I think that takes care of the first pre-trials. Next, we'll be turning to Sereno versus, yes, what?
The trial, will it be in a Zoom trial or in the courtroom?
I'll decide that next week. Next week is a pre-trial, and the trial will be coming up fairly soon after that. I don't know. I will know a little bit more after I talk to you folks in a week.
Thank you.
Sir, what date that's going to be in a week? Or are you?
I don't know when the trial will be. The pre-trial will be a week from today, so it'll be on the 23rd at 2 o'clock by Zoom, same way we're doing this now.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Did you say that was the end of the landlord tenant?
No, I said it's the end of the first cases. I have